So, were you? I was only. I feel like I remember being like vaguely aware of this, but were you aware? Like, do you remember the thing from a few years ago of the like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Not only do I remember that, I feel like I think you and I have talked about this on
Did we
the show
really?
before. I think so.
Okay.
But go on.
I mean, I guess it. I tried to like look it up on Know Your Meme when I was thinking about it today to like figure out like what exactly this was, and when it was, because it was apparently just like it would have been like while we were making the show because it was in like 2023. But yeah, I guess it started as a series of like Instagram reels or TikToks that somebody made where it's just like basically what it was is like women asking men how often do you think about the Roman Empire, and then like being sort of like surprised by the answers that of men being like, "Oh, like multiple times a day."
I don't, for what it's worth. That's
Right,
not a
me
thing I
neither.
think about
Like
that
unless
often.
it comes up for some reason. Yeah, I'm not just like spontaneously. Yeah, I'm not I think one of those men.
I think I probably used to more because for there was a period of time where for my job,
Oh,
I
that's true. Yeah.
I was working on a game about that was set during the Roman Empire. So I had to do some work on that, but it's not something I just kind of like.
Right.
I'm not just considering the Roman Empire on a regular basis. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. This episode I think feels like the sort of either the 60s version of that or I guess like the 24th century version of that. Of just the like I feel like there's so many things in this episode of just like why were you thinking about like World War II fighter planes
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
or knights or Don Juan or whatever?
yeah.
Like
Well,
who was
yeah. I
thinking
mean,
about these things?
I liked this episode a lot, but I would say that like the Knights stuff, I was like, I did watch this with Reggie, and I did have to kind of have some explanations about the weird gender essentialism stuff
Sure.
that this show used to traffic in because it's not that stuff continues to not age very well. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's rock and roll. We gotta
Yeah,
get
yeah,
through
yeah.
this one. All right. Ba 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 ba. Hi everyone, welcome to Odd Contreks, a show where two guys who have seen part of Star Trek try to watch all of it in no particular order. I'm Ryan Howard,
And I'm Brady Jungle.
and this week we're talking about Shore Leave, which is Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 17. This is written by the madman Theodore Sturgeon. I'm going to see if he's ever written any other thing else for it. And directed by Robert Spar. Theodore Sturgeon, let's see. He, oh man, he also wrote Amok Time, so this is a weird man.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so he wrote So he wrote those two. He also wrote two unproduced story outlines. One called The Joy Machine, which was later developed into a first draft teleplay by a different person. Let's see,
Okay.
what's that about? It dealt with the population of a Federation colony getting addicted to a sophisticated machine stimulating the brain's pleasure center, which rewarded the workers with hours of joy in exchange for their work hours. Um, Interesting. Okay,
Okay.
that could be that. That sounds kind of interesting. And
Yeah.
then he also wrote something called Shore Leave 2, which is
Oh
an
no.
intended sequel to this. Yeah. So it said Sturgeon had already proved with Shore Leave, Amok Time, and the unproduced Joy Machine to write his scripts very slowly, and having no real knowledge of writing television drama. And so Roddenberry had enough of quote babysitting writers at that point. The assignment was eventually cut off at the outline stage.
Oh,
Um,
so they don't say like what would have actually happened.
Yeah. It doesn't say. Um, let's see. He wrote Live Long and Prosper. Also, he wrote that line, Live Long and Prosper. It says he was liked by the Star Trek staff for his fertile imagination and writing skills. However, he was not familiar enough with the television format, and his stories often turned out to be too expensive or simply impossible to be put on the screen. He also worked very slowly, also often taking months to get from the outline to teleplay and then to revise drafts. Uh,
So he's basically
uh,
Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, well, yeah, without the coke, I guess, because
Sure.
he's not writing as quickly, you know. Um, let's see, did he do anything else? I'm just sort of curious about
Yeah.
this. He wrote an episode of The Invaders, the basis of the horror film Killdozer, an episode of Land of the Lost, and also some episodes of the Twilight Zone revival series in the 1980s.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know. He's just like kind of a little guy, who did a little bit of writing. Then directed by Robert Spar. This is a well directed episode. I think. I don't know how you felt about it, but I was struck by like some of the. Looked much more dynamic than some of the other, even like the more recent shows than this. But like certainly, this one I was like, there was some really cool like shots in it. But
yeah, I mean it's also, I wonder how much of that though, or like I think one of the most striking things about this episode is like it's clearly just all filmed like outside.
Yes.
Right, like this is not like a set with like trees and plants. Like they just went to a park and like literally ran around a bunch. Like there are scenes where everyone is out of breath because they've just run across the park.
I think that there might be some like fake like plants and stuff like added to it to like look a little bit more alien, but yes, it is obviously
like they painted the trees red for some reason, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, so again, like in one of those ways that you kind of don't. I feel like the original series, or like I'm sure a lot of TV from that era, but like this is the one that I think has stuck around the most, sometimes just jumps out at you in a way that like you kind of don't notice watching like everything that's made now and how like produced it looks until you see something that like this that just looks so much more real in a way that you can't like. I have such a hard time describing, but it's so clearly like these are people outside in a park the whole time. So
yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, well let's get into it. Sorry, in my memory of synopsis, the Enterprise crew takes shore leave on a planet where their imaginations become reality. This is, I think, like probably famously one of the most insane hours of Star Trek ever produced, right? I mean, I think it's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there to me. It's up there with like the Naked Time and the Omega Glory, you know, or like in a slightly more derogatory, like the Beverly Crusher Sex or the Ghost.
Yes, it is one of those where, yeah, if you're talking about just like making something about just like that show was crazy, and then you would like cut to McCoy chasing the white rabbit in this episode. Yeah. Yes, or like, because even like the Tom Paris turns into a salamander episode, like that's really just the very like it's just that scene. Yeah, like the whole episode isn't this bonkers.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I guess there's the like TNG one where everyone is like de-evolving. I feel like I remember that one being kind of wild.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that one.
And like Deanna Troi turns into a fish or something.
Yeah, man, I forgot about that episode. That episode is kind of boring, though. I think, if I recall correctly. So
yeah, this episode is not that.
No, this episode I would say a bit sexist, but other than that, and they're a bit sexist. And then there is that one scene where he fights Finnegan for about 5 hours toward the end. But other than that, though, a pretty entertaining episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for it. Take us in.
I watched this episode this morning and I've already forgotten that happened. So basically, like, the setup of this episode is like everyone is like tired and worn out, and they've like gone through a lot of hard episodes of Star Trek, and so everybody on the ship needs a break. And so there is also like the one scene at the beginning where I wrote down, so this must be where the fan fiction started. Because there's like Kirk is like sitting in his chair being like, my neck is sore and I'm tired, and then like Barrows, who's a yeoman who's like in sort of like kind of features in this episode, starts to like give him like a shoulder massage, and then he's just like, oh, that's really good, but he thinks that it's Spock, and then gets kind of like uncomfortable when he realizes that it's not.
That's interesting because I think that's a good point about the fan fiction, but at the same, but I was like, it felt to me originally like a rare moment of like self-awareness, because that was happening, and I was like, why is this woman who is obviously like
member of the ship's crew
and like Captain Kirk is her superior, like why is she giving him a back rub? That seems like really inappropriate. And then it seems like he recognizes that as soon as he realizes that it's her doing it, he's like, oh, that's not like, but then like that's negated, I would say, like by like the rest of the episode, the way the rest of the episode treats her, that
Yeah,
character.
it's a
But
real unfortunate dynamic they go for with her,
yeah.
where it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, she's like a like crew member on a like Starfleet ship, but then is also kind of has to spend most of the episode just being like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm the girl, um,
Yeah.
who is into girly things. But yeah,
Yep.
so McCoy has found this planet that like at, at first it's just him and Sulu and are like down there kind of like scouting it out and making sure, because he's like, this would be a great place for just the crew to kind of like have a vacation, essentially. Like everyone just kind of comes and has this very like relaxing time on this like beautiful natural planet, because he's like, there's no, it's uninhabited, there's no animal life, it's just water and plants.
Now, okay. So this raises an interesting question. Does that sound fun to you?
just
Like,
frolicking in
well, it's because it's like,
a
because
park.
what did they say? Like I think Sulu says like, no. What does he say? He says like, no animals, no people. Like it's great.
Yeah.
I was just like, what's so okay? I'm not saying I like the outdoors. Like,
yeah, I like going for like a nice hike.
yeah, it's like I'm not saying like, well, there's no malls or whatever, but it's like one of the things I like about the outdoors is that you might like see a squirrel or something. Like you know, like,
yeah,
like
the no
there's-
animals element is like a weird, it like feels kind of unnecessary thing to like, that they sort of emphasize like multiple times. Yeah.
But also it's like I like. Oh yeah, he says no animals, no people, no worries. Just what the doctor ordered. And I'm just like, this is like awesome. It's like also I like people too. Like
Right.
you know, like it's such a strange where it's like it seems like their idea of shore leave is that they would just go down and have like a picnic in silence and then like go like what
like sit by the side of a pond and like look
yeah,
at
and it's
some flowers.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just thought that was it was a very odd, like that they're this like this is what our you know our standard is for the most restful time. It's just like to go to
Right.
a weird like kind of to go to like basically like a planet sized greenhouse. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. There is, I think it's, I don't know if it's here or like a little bit later on, but there's a scene where like Kirk is asking like if Spock's gonna go, and Spock is just like, rest is just like allowing the body to not participate in activity, and so like why would I spend time like running back and forth on grass?
He has kind of almost a Trumpian like attitude about
Oh sure.
about that. Like do you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
like the Trump.
just like you have like a limited amount of like energy for your whole life, so exercise is just wasting
Exercise like makes
energy.
you it's bad for you, yeah, because you lose energy.
Yeah.
Man, what a fool. Anyway,
So yeah, so McCoy and Sulu are down here, and McCoy says something along the lines of, "It's just like a scene out of Alice in Wonderland," which like I understand that the reason you're doing that is so that you can do the whole evocative, like kind of defining thing of this episode is like he sees the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
yeah.
But it's such a thing that like you would never like I've never gone to like the most beautiful park I've been to. That's never been like the reference point that I went to in my mind of just like
Right.
this makes me think of Alice in Wonderland. Like the
Well, that's one of the reasons why I do think that some of the plants in this are artificial
we're
because
trying to look more like kind
so
of
I think they're trying to make them look like a
fanciful.
little bit more alien,
Yeah.
so that it has some Alice vibes a little bit more. That's
Yeah.
what I was.
Probably.
But yes, I know what you mean. It's like it mostly just looks like they went to like they went to Joshua Tree again, you know, or whatever, you know, like
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
where they love to go.
But yeah, no, it's definitely that sort of like you clearly like did that for story reasons because that's kind of the big hook of the episode. So yeah, so McCoy sees a big like human-sized furry white rabbit. McCoy sees
The other
a
thing
bird.
that I think is What is he? Right. I mean, I think that's a really funny thing about this episode that is never addressed is that he's like I saw like a giant white rabbit, and it's like when you saw him, you saw what is clearly like a man dressed in a rabbit costume. Like it's not like you
Right.
saw like a. It's not like you saw like
rabbit that was
a CG
human-sized,
white
yeah.
rabbit like it looked at the guy from like the cartoon or something. It's like you saw like a mascot.
Yeah.
And he's never like, oh Jim, it was the strangest thing. It was like a man wearing a rabbit costume.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I
Yeah.
thought that
And
was
then
funny.
and then he sees Alice from Alice in Wonderland, who kind of like chases the rabbit off. And he's just like, that was weird. So first he radios up to Kirk and like tries to sort of explain this to him, and Kirk's like, yeah, sure, good joke there, buddy.
This is my favorite scene in the episode though because of the little Spock Kirk
Oh, sure.
thing, because it's like such an obvious like what the bit is going to be, but
Yes.
like it's just so charming. Like it's because it's basically like he's like, Captain, you're gonna go down. He's like, no, I'm not going to. And then he's like, well, Captain, I have a report for you about like somebody we have a crew member who's showing signs of stress and fatigue. Reaction time down 9 to 12%. Associational reading norm -3. And then Kirk is like, oh, that's not good. And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, he
He's like-
refuses to go, but that's his right. And he's like, well, no, it's not his right when the safety of the ship is in mind. Then he's like,
Yeah, on Captain's orders, he must go. Yeah.
and he's like, what's his name? And he says James Kirk. And then like Nimoy just like flashes this like look at him where I'm just like, like the Leonard Nimoy, like just like
he's
just
so good at like
yeah
the acting with facial expressions. I was
Yeah,
thinking
like,
that in like I think it's earlier in that same scene too. The one I took note of is like it's when McCoy is like radioing up, and because he opens it up with like saying something of just like, well, Jim, like either like all of our sort of like scouting parties and scans of this planet were wrong, or I'm unfit for like duty. And then you like it just like flashes for like one shot to like Spock's face, and he doesn't say anything, but like you obviously know which of these two things Spock thinks it was.
yeah
Such a like, and part of that I'm sure obviously is like they've developed these characters and their relationship, and so you like know what they kind of are going to think about each other. But yeah, but just the look that crosses his face is so like he can communicate so much with it that
Yep.
he's so
the
good.
best.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. But then he kind of tricks him into being like, fine, I guess I'll go down there.
Yeah.
I think this is also a very weird scene because it's like they at this point still it seems like basically just think that like McCoy is joking, like, and it's not until like Kirk goes down there, and he's like, oh, I guess he was being serious
and
about
they
a
see,
rabbit,
like footprints or whatever, and he's just like,
it's just one of those like writing things where it's like if that happened in real life, like McCoy would be like, no, I'm saying I actually saw a white rabbit down here.
Again, especially in like a universe like Star Trek where like you go to weird planets where weird stuff happens every week, right? Like clearly everyone would immediately kind of like take this seriously and be like, okay, well there's a thing going on here. And so but yeah, he's just like, oh McCoy, you and your jokes about Alice in Wonderland. I know how you are.
Yeah, so they get down there and
yeah, so they're like investigating. They kind of see these like rabbit tracks, and they're kind of like looking at those, and then they hear gunshots, and like kind of are like, oh no, gunshots, and are running towards it. And it's just like Sulu found a gun, and is like playing with it. He's
this
kind of
this
like
scene
shooting
also
it off
is like
into the air.
like this because this episode is so deranged. Like it because like. The Alice in Wonderland thing happens at the beginning. I remembered that happening. Reggie's watching it. Reggie is like, "What is going on?" Like
right.
Just because the rabbit like talks in like a little voice too. Like the rabbit's like,
it's kind of like,
"Oh, I'm
ADR
terribly
here.
late for my like."
Yeah,
and
right, like does the line, and then the little girl runs up and she's like, "Did you see a rabbit, sir?"
Yeah, and then it's like they're down there, and then just there's a scene before this though where like a rock lifts up. Like, and then there's just a pistol underneath it.
Yeah.
and Reggie's like, whoa. And then and then like yeah, there's just like gunfire happening, and then you're just like Sulu, like what world is this on where Sulu is like, oh cool, a gun, I found a gun under a rock.
Right.
Sometimes just like you shoot it, like
I'm gonna shoot off into the distance. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like just a completely bananas.
Yeah.
Like so insane.
I think I kept getting this one confused with because there's another one where they go down to a planet and then they get like sprayed with like spores from a plant or something, and then everyone just wants to.
We've done
like,
that one on the show.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is it's called, I believe it's called This Side of Paradise.
Yeah, I keep getting this one confused with that one because this one like they're not like they're all supposedly like thinking clearly the whole time.
Yeah.
And these things, I guess spoilers, like all these things just end up being like robots basically.
Yeah.
That are being like made like they're reading their thoughts and then like making robots of like the things that they are thinking about. But like
I don't know if they're thinking clearly the entire time, because I think
but
that
they're
like
so like they get so wrapped up in these things.
Right, I think the implication is that because these things are so they're so like kind of evocative of like the exact thing they were thinking of, that is like kind of like almost causing them to have like these, to defocus almost. Certainly I think that like that's the implication in like the scene with
like the Finnegan stuff or
well, but both of the Kirk things, where it's just like, especially when he's with the when he's with Ruth though, because he's just sort of like, what? Oh, right, yeah, like you know, like sure, I guess there's like a problem or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but I kind of like, this is so much like what I wanted that I like can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Cause yeah, so that I think the first Finnegan thing is then I think the next one, right? Where like, cause Kirk is just like, maybe this is some kind of like practical joke or like prank that's being played on us, and then he like, I remember this guy at the academy that would always be like picking on me and playing pranks on me, and then Finnegan shows up, who's this like
a leprechaun. Like this. Okay,
yeah.
Like this is the worst part of the. Well, that's not true. It's not the worst. The worst part of the episode is the women's
sexism.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, I can't believe that like this kind of a person was in Starfleet Academy, where it's just like a man who it just seems to be like a bully. Like he's
yeah, but he's got like this ridiculous haircut and like kind of Irish accent, and is just like, ho ho ho, Jimmy boy, and then just like, yeah, just kind of like mocks and punches him.
He punches him, yeah, like he just like punches him in the face,
and over.
And it's like, and again, it's sort of left unclear where it's like, did he ever actually do that in real life, or is this like a situation where it's like Kirk always wanted to punch him, and so like the computer has created like some sort of a simulation that would allow
him to like fight.
Allow him like an appropriate.
Because it does feel like, I much more got the feeling that just like apparently like Starfleet Academy was just spent with like these two men like literally like fighting each other the whole time.
Very strange.
Yeah.
So
is that what college was back in the 60s? I mean,
maybe. Well, they definitely thought more about Don Juan back then.
I'm so like that one too. Like, I'm so like only vaguely aware of what Don Juan was.
Reggie was like, "Who's Don Juan?" And I was like, "I kind of know." Like Alice in Wonderland, like that one is still, that one's still going strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, Don Juan not so much. So Sulu's shooting a gun. Then I think like again in the interest of like, because this is like the next like several.
Most of the episode is just various like random fantasies that people like imagine and then come to life. And it is a gun.
Let's list them. Yeah, so there's Sulu fires a gun.
Yes.
The there's like these other two.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's the other two that are just kind of.
Yeah, the other two like first like one of them thinks about a tiger, and then a tiger almost attacks them, and then he later on thinks about World War II fighter planes, and so there's these fighter planes that come and
like shoot at them with a machine gun. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
is there anything else they think? I feel like there's one more thing that they think about, but I don't remember what it was now.
I don't remember. But then
off screen Don Juan like rips Barrows's shirt.
Yeah, and then Sulu chases him off. Then Sulu thinks about a samurai, and a samurai attacks him in one of the better scenes. Kirk runs into like someone he like loved like 15 years ago, probably also at the academy, which I told Reggie at the end, I was like, because at the end of the episode, like Kirk was like, oh, I have to go spend time with her, and I'm like, I would not want to do that. That sounds horrible to like have like someone who you like used to be your girlfriend and she's still the same age as you guys both were back when you met, and then like she's a robot. Like, no thanks. But
apparently that does it for like everybody though on this show.
The other thing is that those other two guys, the other two people, they think about birds, and then there's like
there's like a flock of birds on this planet that didn't have animals before. Sure.
And then what else? And then the I would say the worst. The actual worst thing in the episode is that, like...
Yeah, so McCoy and Barrows are, like, kind of walking together, like, investigating what's going on. And, yeah, he's kind of trying to, like, flirt with her and be like, well, I'll protect you. Even though she's, like... I probably should not look up how old the actress was. But, like, much younger than DeForest Kelley. But it's kind of always what they do with... I feel like he'll occasionally have these like, we're gonna give McCoy someone to fall in love with, but yeah, and then she's just like, I wish I had a pretty dress.
Well, she not even that. She's like, she says something about like how it would just make like any woman want to like just like be protected or whatever, like she's there like in a fairy tale
princess.
Yeah. And then she's like, it would make someone want to be protected. And then McCoy's like, well, you'd be fighting off, you know, suitors, including me or whatever. And I'm like, again, you're like her boss or something. Like this is bad. And also it's so just like all women want this and all men want this.
And again, like she's working, right? Like she is I'm not sure exactly what a yeoman is, but like she's like she is at work.
That's what happens if you listen to those Carmen tapes when you're a kid and then you grow up. You're no longer yo kids, you're yo man.
Yo man.
A joke for only you. No one else on earth will appreciate that joke.
There are other people who remember Carmen.
But I don't think there's that many people who remember yo kids though. Okay, so
I mean, okay, here's the real question: do you think more about the Roman Empire or the singer Carmen?
Or Carmen? Oh, I certainly think more about Carmen than I do about the Roman Empire. I think about Carmen relatively frequently.
Right.
Emily Banks was 28 years old when this episode was filmed, and DeForest Kelley
older than she could have been, I guess.
DeForest Kelley was 46.
Okay.
So I'm good 18 years older than her.
Yeah.
He was
great.
He was smoking his first legal cigarette when she was born.
Sure.
Whatever. Anyway.
Great. But yeah. So then like a princess dress appears with like the big like princess hat.
Yeah.
And there's like, then the scene gets even worse because she goes and she's like, I'm gonna change into it. Don't peek.
He keeps on peeking, kind of like.
But he makes like some line about just like, I'm a doctor, so I only peek when it's like the worst. Is how I interpreted that.
I don't remember that.
He says like, I'm a doctor. I only peek when it's like in the line of duty, and I'm just like, that's not better. That's not a good thing.
Yeah,
that's terrible, dude. Anyways. But yeah, and so then like he's like trying to like talk to Kirk on the communicator, but keeps like peeking because she keeps doing like the thing where like just a piece of clothing gets thrown over like the branch of a tree or whatever.
Yeah. Well, then I would say then in punishment for his inappropriate behavior, then he is killed. Like he is killed by a knight, like a knight who stabs him in the chest with a lance, and you see him dead on the ground with like a big hole in his chest.
Yep, that happens. That is a thing that happens in this episode of Star Trek.
Yep.
And then Kirk runs up and like the phasers don't work, so Kirk shoots the knight with the gun.
With a gun, yes. That man, Reggie and I were like dying at this point in the episode. We're like, he just shoots him with a gun, and then like he takes his hat off, and he's like a dummy.
Yeah,
which did maybe it's like, well, like, so did they just not do as good of a job on the knight's face as on like the other people? Because like you weren't supposed to see his face,
Ruth
or like if they killed,
like,
or if they killed Finnegan, would he also turn into a dummy? I don't know. Like then like while they're not looking, like somebody steals the knight and McCoy's bodies. They're looking around for him. Kirk fights Finnegan for like a long time.
Yeah, and they're playing this like sort of like jig music the whole time. Although I will say, like, before that point, I think they did an very interesting like sound design thing, because like anytime they're on the planet, there's like these sort of like creepy wind chimes kind of playing.
Yeah.
Like the whole time, where it's just like something strange is happening here. Like it's kind of whimsical, but like sort of unsettling. But yeah, but then they like play this sort of like weird jiggy fight music, and yeah, Kirk and Finnegan just like fight, and it's one of those things that I think Star Trek would do every now and then, where like this was the biggest problem I had with Space Seed, like the first Khan episode. It's just like they fight and like the other person is beating up Kirk for a while, and then Kirk starts beating the other person just because he's better at fighting, and like that's the right, like he doesn't like do any, like he doesn't do anything like clever or like outwit him or anything. He just kind of like starts winning eventually.
Yeah, not their sense of like storytelling within a fight, which is so important to like the best fight scenes. Not very strong on the show.
Yeah, I will say some of the like stunt work in that fight scene looks just painful, just because of how like real it looks.
It's better fight than Arena,
For sure, yeah. Part of it I think is that they're so clearly like outside on like actual dirt and rocks and things, and so like when someone gets like flipped and like falls onto his back, you're just like, that has to hurt.
Yeah, right.
Or like at one point he's like swinging this big stick and it like hits the other person over the back and like the stick breaks. That you're just like, oh wow, that some stunt performer I'm sure like did not have a good time doing that one.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember how this episode ends. I think I was getting it mixed up with the Shore Leave sequel that was produced for the animated series, which you've also done.
Yeah,
which I believe which I believe does end with like basically one of them like pretending to get really sick so they will get taken into like the area where
but I think they do that because of like what happens to McCoy in this one, that they're like, well, last time we were here McCoy actually died, and then like they took him down to the control room and like fixed him up, and they're like, well, we have to get down to the control room, so we just have to have somebody die again or like look like they're dead.
But then what happens in this one is that they figure out that like it's summoning up like facsimiles of like anything that they can think of, anything that they think of, and then like this old man comes out at the end.
So first, then there's like a little like montage scene where they kind of like Kirk and Spock are kind of running to sort of tell everybody else that, and they kind of like run past all of the things from the episode so far. So like they run away from the tiger, and they like knock over the samurai and like the Don Juan and everybody, and then they kind of like tell like the crew to like stand at attention and like don't think about anything, and then this guy shows up.
Do you think this is where the final that the climax from Ghostbusters comes from? Like where they're like, don't think about anything scary, and then they think about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, it's Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I couldn't help myself.
I wonder honestly. But yeah, then the guy comes out and the guy is just like, all right, so this is like, we just now realized that you guys didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
like,
were
you
just
not now realized that? Like, like and then he's just like, yeah, we make these robots for like fun. Like, so you can like, it's basically, they're like, we have like a planet-wide holodeck that if you think of something, they will you make it and then you can like have fun with it.
Yeah, like it's basically is this what Westworld is?
I don't know. I've not seen Westworld.
But
maybe though.
It's basically just the like, you kind of imagine things and then we create like a version of that for you to like interact with however you want to.
Yeah.
And like it's like this kind of fun game.
Yeah. The clear implication also is like we created for you to have sex with. Like,
Especially like in the last scene, it's just like, oh, okay, so everyone just had sex the whole time.
Yeah,
Which I guess is also
Bones,
like at times what they sort of hint the holodeck is largely used for too. So.
Yeah. Bones walks up and he's fine. He's got these two like cabaret girls on either arm, which makes Bowman mad for some reason, and then
right.
like, so then the cabaret girls are like, "Oh, okay, we'll go hang out with Sulu and Spock." Spock is like, "Nah, I'm good. This has been enough recreation for me." Then Kirk is like, "All right, time to go have sex with like my high school girlfriend or whatever," and then the episode's over basically.
Yeah, and then they like come back to the ship, and Spock was just like, "Did you have a good time?" And everyone literally just kind of like spends a couple minutes being like,
"Yeah, like wouldn't you like to know?" Yeah, like. I don't kiss and tell with robots or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
It certainly is like it's so watchable. I can't be like it's good, but also it's like you can't not watch it and be like enthralled by just that this was like allowed to be like put on TV as like an hour of television. It's so strange. Like
it's a wild one. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've been looking forward to doing this one for a long time. This is like definitely when we started doing the show, I think one of the ones I was most excited to like revisit. So it was definitely it was a fun episode to rewatch, and it was a fun one to talk to you about, even though I know we kind of had to rush through it. So
I guess the real question is it more or less? I don't know if we agree on this, but like, is it more or less wild than the animated one, where like there's a literal like pterodactyl chasing them at one point?
I think it's weirder because like that one, it's like you kind of already know like what's up, you know, and it's like they've already done.
I guess
that,
that's true. Yeah, it's
like, and I also like that one. Just like it does feel a little bit more like unified of an idea, where it's like there's a dinosaurs or something. Where this one, it's just like one of the things that's like so disorienting about that one is it goes from like Alice in Wonderland to gun to tiger to fighter planes to samurai, where you're just like
right.
These are all completely disconnected ideas that are just being thrown at you like one after another. Right, exactly. Yeah, like, and I don't think there's anything that is like quite. It's like the shock of the new is worn off a little bit in the other one, but
that's fair.
But I like the other one still. It's still good. But
yeah, that one was fun.
Thank you everybody for listening. We come out every other week. So in a couple weeks, we're going to be back at you with Empathological Fallacies, which is season 4, episode 5 of Lower Decks. So you can come back and check us out then. In the meantime, you can follow us on Blue Sky at Contreks. You can email us at outofcontreks@gmail.com. You can visit our website at outofcontreks.podbean.com, or you can follow us on YouTube at Out of Contreks. Contreks is spelled Contreks. You can also check out the other shows on the Kaleidoscope Media Podcast Network. The other show actually now, which is Here's Johnny, a horror media podcast. So check those folks out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.